One player every Premier League club needs in January. We're already on the 5th. Where should we start?
Arsenal, Theo. And you know what? I've gone with Dusan Vlahovic, Theo. And this is no disrespect to Eddie and Nketiah. But what Vlahovic does, Theo, he's a target man. He's a poacher. He'll get you a goal every other game. Buy him from Juventus.
And do you know what winds me up? Arsenal still haven't purchased him. They've now got interest from Chelsea and other English clubs. Why are they competing? He's already showing on his Instagram he wants to play under Arteta. Why is this deal not done? You need to look at the Arsenal board and question. Ever since Gabriel Jesus has been injured, there's been a clear problem with wingers. They've shifted Martinelli over to the left and Nketiah up top. They need more depth. If they want to win the Prem, they need Mudryk. Get it done. His stats don't lie. 12 matches, 7 goals, 7 assists. That's more contributions than games.
Aston Villa, I've gone for Pau Torres from Villarreal, Theo, the Spanish international. Now, he's a centre-back. He's good on the ball.
Yeah.
He can drive forward, and I think Villa need that right now.
He's a good player, but he's not quite James Trafford, my brother. Of course, I don't want this to happen, but it's a move that will eventually make place. He's due for the Premier League. I hope he stays at Bolton until the end of the year, though. But will he get the game time at Man City because of Ederson? Probably not. And my sources are telling me Emi Martinez might be moving away from Aston Villa. There's some links with Manchester United, and he is the goalkeeper you need.
Wow, now I love James Trafford. He's been wonderful for Bolton Wanderers, but jumping 2 leagues and taking the place of a World Cup winner, is it not too soon?
He's 20 years old. His potential's through the roof. You need to act early if you want him in your squad.
Bournemouth, I've gone for Jesper Karlsson, Theo, who is a left winger. He's currently at AZ Alkmaar, and they need a replacement for Tavernier, who is injured right now.
I think they need a left back because Lloyd Kelly was shifted out to full back. He's the captain. He's the member. You want him centre back. So I've gone for Josh Tymon. He's 23 years old. Last year, he stood out at Stoke City, making himself one of the best left backs in the Championship. It's a move that's doable this month in January. I want to see it happen in the Cherries.
Brentford, I'm going for another Championship player. It's Victor Gyökeres, Theo, who is at Coventry at the moment. He's a centre forward. We know about the Ivan Toney situation. He might not be around for a while. At Coventry, Victor is smashing it. A goal every other game.
Yeah, he's a brilliant, available player. Again, it's Championship. It's England-based, so this move is more possible to happen in January. And when you've got a player that good at 24, he's due to play for Brentford. My Brentford player, he's 21 years old. This would only be possible on loan because he's actually an Arsenal player and he's got a contract. Folarin Balogun. Now, he's currently at Stade de Reims and he's quietly having an excellent season in Ligue 1. In just 13 starts, he's got 10 goals and he's standing out in the French league. Now, this would be a basis of calling him back and then loaning him out again and getting Premier League experience because he wants to play Premier League next season. He needs to prove it. Brentford should be knocking.
Brighton and Hove Albion, I've gone for a replacement for Danny Welbeck, who's getting on a bit. And this might surprise you, but I'd go for Che Adams, Theo.
What?
From Southampton. Now, Southampton are heading for relegation. To me, that is nailed on. Che Adams, he'll get you a goal every 5 games, but I've always rated him higher than that.
Brighton need to sign nobody. They have the perfect team. That Everton game where they scored 4 goals has decided. The only thing you should be focusing on is keeping Alexis McAllister. You have the right 11 under De Zerbi and a good squad. There's nothing that needs to change. Having a great season. Sometimes when you sign a player, it destroys the chemistry and morale within the squad. You're perfect. Keep it as it is.
You don't think they need a boost at the number 9 position?
No, because Undav is being unused. Currently, they're playing other players like Trossard at striker, Mitoma, and it's working. They're scoring goals. They don't need a change.
Chelsea, I'm going for a man who's being underused by Atletico Madrid. I was impressed by him in Qatar for Portugal. You know who I'm talking about?
No.
João Felix.
No. He's going to Manchester United.
What I like about João Felix,
I'm not having it, Dad.
he can play on the left wing.
No.
He can play centre forward. And you've got to remember, Theo, how prolific he was in his Benfica days, when every 4 games he'd get 2 goals, 1 assist. João Felix to Chelsea.
But there's not even been a rumour with Chelsea and João Felix. He's going to Manchester United. It's almost done. It's done. It's probably. I've just checked my phone. It's done.
It's not done until it's done.
My sources are telling me it's done. What makes you think he would do better at Chelsea than United?
Your sources, what is that, spaghetti sauce?
Yeah, tomato. What do you want, some? You want some?
Right.
You want some?
What you want, some?
I've gone for João Felix.
Theo, you just give me all that waffle and you've gone for João Felix.
Hijack the deal! It's not that the forwards are not scoring, it's a lack of creativity. So imagine you could sign a player who's been stuck in the streets of Madrid right now, trying to play under Simeone, negative football, can't work anything out. Now, João Felix adds goals, but he also can link up play with them and make their statistics better. This could be the answer to Chelsea's problem.
Crystal Palace, it's got to be Sofian Amrabat from Fiorentina. Now, he's being linked with a lot of big clubs, Theo, and no disrespect to the guy, he was wonderful in Qatar, but I think a club like Crystal Palace is his level.
The one position they need to correct immediately is right back. And I look at all the right backs available at the moment, and there aren't too many that really catch my eye. until I found the spider. Bring him home to Selhurst Park. Aaron Wan-Bissaka needs to make a return. And it's all about what Patrick Vieira can do to a player like him. He knows the surroundings. He knows the training ground. That's what turned him into a top player. And you've got to remember, there's one of the best defensive fullbacks in the world within that player.
Everton, I'm looking to the Championship yet again. I'm going for Ismail Assar from Watford, whose contract is up in a year and a half there. He's a proven player in the Premier League. And my goodness, Everton need quality of this level.
That rings a bell because they nearly signed him just at the end of last year, didn't they?
They did, Theo. Do it now.
Do you think what they need to change is the manager? Forget the players. Do you blame the players or do you blame Lampard?
No, I've said all season, Theo, look at the squad Everton have got. It is not good enough.
One man who delivers goals from the moment he joins the team, and they're already linked with him. They put a bid in for him. They got rejected, and they said you can sign him on a permanent. And here's my message to Frank Lampard. Make the board sign him on a permanent now. Danny Ings to Everton. Wherever he goes, he scores goals. Unai Emery doesn't have him in his first team plans. And when he comes off the bench, he scores goals. And he could be the man to save your season.
Fulham, get over to Valencia and sign up Yunus Musa, Theo. You need another American in your squad. He's a central midfielder. He impressed for the USA, didn't he, in Qatar? Do it.
I was going to say nobody for Fulham because their team is so good. It's the best they've had in years. They could finish European football. They come into the derby against Chelsea this week, probably as favourites. Maybe not because they don't have Mitro, but they would have been. The only position they might need a bit more depth in is right back. I'm thinking Cedric. He's on the bench for Arsenal. He doesn't really get game time because of Tomiyasu and Ben White. Bring him in. He's 31. He'll be good for the squad and it will help Fulham hopefully end in a European spot. But what a season they're having.
Leeds, it's got to be Jonas Wind from Wolfsburg, Theo. He's a centre forward who, by the way, was prolific when he was at Copenhagen.
Yeah.
He's good in the air. He'll score your goals. And I don't know about Patrick Bamford these days.
Dad, I don't know how you've done this. I've also gone for Jonas Wind.
You're cheating. You're looking at my notes.
He's young. He's got potential. They need a striker. How have we done this?
I don't know. He's a good player, Theo, and bring him to Yorkshire. Leicester City, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Denzel Dumfries from Inter Milan, Theo. We know him from the Dutch squad and from Qatar. He would be a good player.
Do you think a player like Dumfries playing at Inter, Champions League football, will want to make the step down to relegation fighting Leicester City?
Probably not, Theo, to be quite honest, but Leicester do need a replacement for Mark Albrighton.
One player they should try and go for, and they need to act quick if they want him, because he's going to get interest from clubs all around the world. Azzedine Ounahi, the 23-year-old at Angers, he shined for Morocco at the World Cup. And if Tielemans is going to leave, you need a great replacement with energy and flair. Bring him to the Premier League. I'll be watching.
Liverpool, now I've said this one in the past. I'll say it again until I'm red in the face, Theo. Jude Bellingham at defensive midfield. Liverpool have got to compete with Manchester City. They've got to look forward 5 years, 10 years. Jude Bellingham, as we know, is a phenomenon. He's going to cost you over 100 million, but at some point Liverpool have got to pay real money for real players.
Well, your face might get very red when I tell you that Jude Bellingham is unlikely to leave Dortmund in January. They need a midfielder. They need someone with added energy and change their second half of the season. That is why I think they should bid and put the cash on the table for Alexis McAllister. Stop wasting and worrying about Jude Bellingham. He's not going to move, and then he'll probably be asked by every big club and eventually end up at Real Madrid. The work rate he had for Argentina at the World Cup, the way he changes that Brighton side, get Alexis into the red squad. It will massively impact your team.
Is he good enough for Liverpool Football Club?
Don't tell me that. You've got a World Cup, Dad. Don't say things like that.
Manchester City. Now, I know this probably won't happen, but City is a team with unlimited budget, so I've gone for Tchouameni, Theo.
What?
I know it's not going to
He's
happen.
just signed for Madrid.
He's at Real Madrid. He's there for another 5 or 6 years. But Man City, they've got the cash.
You
and
were
if
just
anyone's
impressed by
going
him
to
at
get
the World Cup. That's why you want it. The key words there was unrealistic. That's why I've picked no one to join Man City in January. Do not spend over the amount for a player that they do not need.
Manchester United, get over to Borussia Mönchengladbach. By the way, we've been there and it's great.
Marcus Thuram.
And buy up Marcus Thuram there.
25 years old, good striker. He's available in the end of the summer. I see it. I see it.
It's true though, isn't it? He is a typical number 9.
He's a goal
I'd
scorer.
have him over João Felix.
And at the World Cup, he changed the game when he came off the bench. For Manchester United, it's a striker too. They need a complete striker.
Yes.
If Thuram's not available, then go for Mitrovic. Alexander Mitrovic.
Very, very interesting.
His facts don't lie. 11 goals in 15 games. Would he want to make the step up? But of course he was. Legends like Matic, the Serb, who played there. I've seen rumours of João Felix, and they've got it all wrong. Look at the style United play under Ten Hag. They need a big man who can do anchor play, hold the ball up, bring the wingers into it, like Rashford and Sancho and Anthony. They need an out-and-out striker, someone who's proven in the Premier League, who's ready for the step up, and I think that man is Mitro.
Newcastle United, this is very, very obvious. players, it has to be James Maddison, Theo. Now, I want to see this incredible flair player playing in a front three for Newcastle. Newcastle have been defensively superb. We saw that the other day against Arsenal, but they need to unlock those difficult defensive. James Maddison does that.
I think Guimaraes could do serious damage if he was played in less of a 6 role and more of an 8 or a 10. Therefore, shift him up and sign a ball-winning midfielder. And I look across the map and I think, who is the best? Because it's Newcastle. Who's the best? N'Golo Kante. When does his contract end? In the summer. So put in a bid now to fool the rest of the clubs, because he's going to get interest from everywhere. So fool everyone and do it very quietly and sneak a bid in for Kante now.
Nottingham Forest have already spent about 162 million euros, Theo. 33 players came in, a complete new squad.
32.
Don't buy anybody in January. Nobody. You're playing well at the moment. And I can't find a weakness. So just don't spend any money.
And I think it hit home after that 1-0 away at Southampton that Steve Cooper needs to focus on his 32 arrivals that he's made. There's no need for more players. They've got the qualities. It's about making it work. I've also gone for nobody.
Wow.
No one.
Sensible,
Not a
Theo.
single soul.
Southampton desperately need a goalkeeper, Theo. So it's got
James
to be
Trafford.
Livakovic of Dinamo Zagreb and Croatia, who is linked with a lot of big teams. But I think he'd be ideal at Southampton. Livakovic, Theo, has got to a semi-final of a World Cup. James Trafford, 20 years old? He's got a lot to come. Too early.
And I would arguably say Trafford is better with the ball at his feet. His reflex saves are not as good, penalties not as good, but that can come with time. Trafford's 20, Livakovic is 27. Southampton need to look to the future. I've looked outside the box here, and I've gone for a player that they are about to sign, Mislav Orsic, and I think it's a great decision.
Yes.
I think it's exactly what Nathan Jones needs. Now, I know a lot of Southampton fans are blaming the manager and probably wanted me to write down new manager instead of new player, but Orsic is so great. Now, his stats in the Croatian League, 8 goals, 7 assists in 15 games. That's a goal/assist per game. They need someone to grab the ball and make things happen. Now, how many times has Orsic done this? For Croatia at the World Cup, against Chelsea in the Champions League, Arsenal in the Europa League last year. He makes things happen. He has big moments, and that is why Saints is the right move for his new home.
Tottenham Hotspur, something is wrong there at the moment. I watched that Villa game, I was shocked. So I'm going for a name that won't happen, Theo, but listen to me. Declan Rice at defensive midfield. Do you know what? He's being linked with the likes of Chelsea and Man United and Liverpool. Tottenham Hotspur should be in for a player like this. They need to show ambition. They need to say to the world, over the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to win trophies.
Pedro Porro does. Sporting, Spanish. 1 goal, 5 assists in 11 games in the Portuguese league. He's shone against Tottenham in the Champions League. I'm talking to the Tottenham board here. Do not sign him if you want him. Sign him if Antonio Conte wants him. The manager needs to believe in this signing too, or it will end up like Jed spent.
West Ham United, you've already mentioned him, Mudryk, Theo. Now, I know he's being linked with Arsenal. It might have happened already. I've just put him for West Ham.
How have you put West Ham Mudryk?
I think
it's not realistic.
He's a real talent. He's been brilliant at Shakhtar Donetsk. Is he
no.
ready for Arsenal? Will he play every week?
He's linked with Chelsea. He's linked with Arsenal. He's not linked with West Ham. I believe in the players they have already. Skamaka, Ben Rama, even Lanzini. What's happened to him? Their one job is to rely and keep Declan Rice. And I tell you what West Ham fans need. A new manager. David Moyes, your tactics are outdated. Your decision-making this year has made me question a lot of things, like gradually building in Skamaka when he should have played full games from the get-go. The guy's a goal scorer. Look what he did at Leeds. Sack the gaffer. In fact, you know what? David Moyes should do the honours. He should walk.
And finally, Wolverhampton Wanderers. I've said it before. Gonçalo Ramos, Theo.
What?
Wonderful for Benfica. Great for his country. And he's Portuguese.
You just found a Portugueser and said, oh yeah, Wolves, got to go.
Well, that's what they do, isn't it?
I've gone for a Brazilian.
Yes.
Now they speak a similar language.
You've gone for a Brazilian there. Do you want to rephrase
Portuguese
that?
because they speak Portuguese.
Oh, right. I see.
So you can get along with the whole squad. He's 33 years old, and it's Felipe. He's Atletico, and he's not playing. Now, the man has experience in the Champions League and La Liga, across the top 5 European leagues. He's ready for the Premier League. And I think that man would add experience and composure to that backline is what Wolves need. If you agree with our 20 picks each, not Thogdads because he's a mug, smash the like button. We haven't hit 10,000 likes a while.
Oh, Theo, I'm so disappointed.
Oh my God, no!
That lady there has not subscribed.
No, you haven't.
And she's watching this and enjoying it.
Well, you know what? I'm going to end this video after a like and a subscribe.
Oh,
goodbye.
she's
All right, so goodbye.